Maya Chen pressed her face against the grimy viewport of the transport shuttle, watching the massive alien trading station grow larger as they approached. At 19, she was the youngest xenobiologist on the research team, and this was her first time visiting Kepler Station. The structure looked like a giant metal flower floating in space, with dozens of petals that served as docking bays for ships from across the galaxy. "Remember, we're here to observe and learn," Dr. Hernandez reminded the team as their shuttle docked. "The Zenthari are hosting their annual surplus auction today. It's a rare chance to see creatures from dozens of worlds." Maya grabbed her recording tablet and followed the team through the airlock. The station's main corridor buzzed with activity. Tall, blue-skinned Zenthari merchants argued with spider-like arachnite traders, while crystalline beings that Maya didn't recognize hummed in musical tones. The air smelled of ozone and exotic spices. They reached the auction hall, a vast chamber with tiered seating surrounding a central platform. Hundreds of aliens filled the seats, chattering in dozens of languages. Maya's universal translator worked overtime, creating a constant whisper of converted speech in her ear. A Zenthari auctioneer took the platform, his forearms gesturing dramatically. "Welcome, traders and collectors. Today we offer surplus from military training programs across the sector." The first creatures brought out were impressive. Massive armored beasts with razor claws, flying predators with wings like metal blades, and serpentine creatures that could phase through solid matter. The bidding was fierce, with prices reaching astronomical levels. Maya watched in fascination, taking notes on each species. The Zenthari military clearly had access to the galaxy's most dangerous creatures. These were the mounts and partners of elite warriors. Bred for strength and ferocity. Hours passed. The quality of creatures gradually declined as the premium stock sold. Maya noticed the crowd thinning as casual buyers left with their purchases. "And now," the auctioneer announced with noticeably less enthusiasm, "we have Lot 847, a battle steed of unknown origin, recovered from a derelict ship near the void sectors." Two handlers led out what might have been the most pathetic creature Maya had ever seen. It was roughly horse-sized but looked nothing like a horse. Its body was covered in dull gray scales that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. 6 legs supported a narrow frame that looked almost skeletal. The creature's head was elongated, with large eyes that held an unmistakable intelligence. Most notably, it moved with a strange, halting gait, as if its legs couldn't quite coordinate properly. The audience grew restless. Someone laughed. Maya heard mutters of genetic defect and waste of cargo space. "The creature shows no aggressive tendencies," the auctioneer continued, clearly eager to move on. "It has refused all training attempts and appears to lack basic combat instincts." Bidding starts at 50 credits. Silence fell over the auction hall. 50 credits was practically nothing. Less than the cost of a meal. Maya felt a pang of sympathy for the strange creature. It stood on the platform with its head held high despite the obvious disdain of the crowd. 40 credits? The auctioneer tried hopefully. More silence. Maya noticed the creature's large eyes scanning the audience. For a moment, those eyes met hers, and she felt an odd jolt of recognition. There was something ancient and sad in that gaze, but also something proud and unbroken. 30 credits for immediate removal? The creature stumbled slightly, its coordination clearly impaired. Maya made a decision that would change everything. 30 credits! She called out, standing up. Every head in the section turned to stare at her. Dr. Hernandez grabbed her arm. "Maya, what are you doing?" "We're here to observe, not buy." "Gone to the human female for 30 credits," the auctioneer declared with obvious relief. "Next lot." Maya barely heard him. She was already making her way down to the platform, her heart racing. The creature watched her approach with those intelligent eyes. Up close, she could see more details. Its scales had an iridescent quality that only showed under direct light. Its 6 legs, while uncoordinated, moved in a pattern that suggested they were meant for something other than simple walking. "You actually bought it?" Dr. Hernandez had followed her down. "Maya, we don't even know what it eats," let alone how to care for it. We'll figure it out, Maya said, reaching slowly toward the creature. It didn't pull away as her hand touched its neck. The scales were warm and surprisingly soft. "What's your name?" she whispered. The creature made a sound unlike anything Maya had ever heard. It wasn't quite singing, wasn't quite speaking, but it conveyed meaning somehow. Images flashed through her mind. Vast spaces between stars, worlds of incredible beauty, a sense of loss and longing. "Did you feel that?" Maya asked Dr. Hernandez, who was staring at the creature with new interest. "Feel what?" "Never mind." Maya realized the connection was hers alone. "Can we transport it back to the research station?" Dr. Hernandez sighed. "I'll make some calls. But Maya, you're responsible for this creature. Whatever happens next is on you." 3 hours later, Maya stood in the cargo bay of their research vessel, watching as the creature explored its new temporary home. She'd managed to requisition a large containment area, though she kept the barriers lowered. The creature didn't seem inclined to wander. "The preliminary scans are fascinating, Dr. Patel said, reviewing his tablet. "Its brain structure is incredibly complex, far more so than its appearance would suggest. And these genetic markers, I've never seen anything like them." Maya knelt beside the creature, who had settled down near a pile of soft material she'd arranged. "The auction called you a battle steed. But you're not. Are you? You're something else entirely." The creature's response was another wave of images and emotions. Maya saw glimpses of space battles, but not from the perspective of a mount. The viewpoint was from above, watching and coordinating. There were other creatures, similar but larger, moving in perfect formation across a battlefield that spanned several star systems. "You're a commander," Maya breathed. "Not a mount. You command other mounts." The creature's eyes brightened, and Maya felt a surge of approval from it. But the emotion was tinged with sadness. Where were the others it was supposed to command? Dr. Patel's scanner beeped insistently. "Maya, you need to see this." The creature's neural activity just spiked off the charts. It's processing information at a rate that should be impossible for something its size. "It's trying to communicate," Maya said. She placed both hands on the creature's neck, closing her eyes. "What do you need me to understand?" The response nearly knocked her over. Instead of images, she received pure information. Star charts, tactical formations, and most importantly, a name. "Kithara." "Kithara," Maya said aloud, and the creature's whole body seemed to vibrate with pleasure. "Your name is Kithara." "Impossible," Dr. Patel muttered, staring at his readings. The neural pathways that just activated. It's like watching a quantum computer come online. 2. Maya felt Kithara's frustration. The creature's body was damaged somehow, disconnected from its true capabilities. The unsteady movement, the apparent lack of coordination. It was all wrong. Kithara was meant to be graceful, powerful, magnificent. "What happened to you?" Maya asked silently. The answer came as a flood of sensory data. Kithara had been part of a fleet, a massive armada traveling through space. But something had gone wrong. There had been an attack, energy weapons that didn't just destroy ships, but corrupted the very essence of the creatures aboard. Kithara had survived, but its connection to its natural abilities had been severed. "Dr. Hernandez," Maya called out. "I need to speak with you privately." When they moved away from the others, Maya tried to explain what she'd learned. Dr. Hernandez listened with growing skepticism. "Maya, I know you're excited about your purchase, but you're anthropomorphizing." "Yes, the creature is clearly intelligent. But telepathic communication? Commanding fleets? It sounds like fantasy." "Test it then," Maya said firmly. "Give me access to the station's simulation programs. Let me work with Kithara in a controlled environment." Dr. Hernandez considered this. 1 week, you can use Lab 7 and the basic simulation equipment. But Maya, if this doesn't show concrete results, We're transferring the creature to the xenobiology department for standard research protocols. Maya nodded, though her stomach clenched at the thought. She'd seen what standard research protocols could do to sentient creatures. 1 week, that night, Maya sat beside Kithara in the dimmed lab, sharing her simple dinner. The creature had shown interest in her food, and after some experimentation, they discovered it could digest most human meals. I know what you're going through, Maya said quietly. Being away from home. Feeling like no one understands you. I grew up on New Terra, and I never really fit in, too interested in aliens, too willing to trust beings that others saw as monsters. Kithara's response was gentle, comforting. Maya felt the creature's curiosity about her own life, her own journey to this moment. I became a xenobiologist because I believe every species has something unique to offer, Maya continued. But I've never met anyone like you. You're not just intelligent. You're noble. There's something ancient about you. Something important. The lab's lights dimmed automatically as the station's night cycle began. Maya had brought a sleeping bag, intending to stay close to Kithara. As she settled down, the creature moved closer, its warm presence comforting. In her dreams, Maya soared through space, seeing the galaxy through Kithara's memories. She saw worlds where creatures like Kithara served as partners to other species, their intelligence and tactical abilities making them legendary. She saw the Great Fleet in its glory, hundreds of beings working together in perfect harmony, but she also saw the attack. Dark ships emerging from nowhere, firing weapons that turned matter into energy, and energy into chaos. The corruption that had damaged not just Kithara's body but its very essence, cutting it off from its natural abilities. Maya woke with tears on her face. Kithara was watching her with those large, understanding eyes. I'm going to help you, Maya whispered. I don't know how yet, but I promise. You're not broken. You're just disconnected. And if there's one thing humans are good at, it's making connections. Over the next 2 days, Maya threw herself into research. She studied every database entry on Kithara's species, which the galactic scientific community knew almost nothing about. She analyzed the creature's neural patterns, looking for clues about the damage it had sustained. Dr. Patel helped, his initial skepticism replaced by scientific curiosity. The neural pathways are there, he confirmed, but they're not firing properly. It's as if something is blocking the connections. Like psychological trauma? Maya asked. More like, imagine if someone cut the wires in a computer, but left everything else intact. The hardware is fine, but the software can't access it. Maya spent hours with Kithara, building their mental connection. She discovered that the creature's telepathic abilities worked both ways. Not only could Kithara share memories and emotions, but it could also receive them. Maya began showing it her own memories. Her childhood fascination with space, her struggles in school, her determination to prove that understanding between species was possible. In return, Kithara shared more of its history. Maya learned that its species, the Zephyrians, had once been the galaxy's greatest peacekeepers. They served as neutral mediators in conflicts, their tactical intelligence helping to prevent wars rather than win them. But that same ability had made them targets when the galaxy's darker forces decided peace was unprofitable. The attack wasn't random, was it? Maya asked on the 3rd day. Someone specifically targeted your people. Kithara's confirmation was heavy with sorrow. The Zephyrians had been systematically hunted down, their abilities stolen or corrupted by weapons designed specifically to counter their gifts. Kithara was possibly the last of its kind, and it was damaged beyond repair, or so it believed. Maya had a different idea. That evening, she set up the simulation equipment Dr. Hernandez had promised her. If Kithara's problem was a severed connection to its abilities, then maybe what it needed wasn't healing, but a new kind of connection entirely. I want you to try something, Maya said, as she calibrated the neural interface headset. Instead of trying to access your abilities directly, try to access them through me. Kithara's confusion was clear. Maya sat down beside the creature, and placed the neural interface crown on her own head. "I don't know if this will work," she admitted. "But humans have a gift for making connections, for building bridges between things that seem incompatible. Maybe I can be your bridge." She activated the simulation program, a simple tactical scenario involving moving units across a battlefield. Through the neural link, she felt Kithara's presence in her mind. Hesitant but curious. "Don't try to control the simulation directly," Maya whispered. "Share your knowledge with me. Show me what you would do, and I'll be your hands." The first attempt was clumsy. Maya's human reflexes couldn't match Kithara's tactical genius, and the simulation ended in failure. But she felt something else. A moment when their minds truly connected, when she could see the battlefield through Kithara's enhanced perception. "Again," Maya said, resetting the program. This time, the connection lasted longer. Maya found herself understanding tactical concepts that should have taken years to learn. She moved the simulated units with growing confidence, guided by Kithara's strategic brilliance. By the fourth attempt, they were working in perfect harmony. Maya's human intuition, combined with Kithara's vast tactical knowledge, created something entirely new. They didn't just complete the simulation, they revolutionized it, finding solutions that the program's designers had never considered. When the session ended, both Maya and Kithara were exhausted but exhilarated. For the first time since its capture, Kithara felt truly alive again. "Dr. Hernandez isn't going to believe this," Maya said, reviewing the simulation logs. They had achieved scores that should have been impossible for a single operator. But more importantly, she had felt Kithara's joy. The creature wasn't broken after all. It just needed a partner who could provide what its damaged neural pathways couldn't. A bridge between its magnificent mind and the physical world. As Maya prepared to show Dr. Hernandez the results, she had no idea that their success had already been noticed. Deep in the station's monitoring systems, automated alerts were being triggered. The simulation scores had exceeded safety parameters, indicating the presence of either malfunctioning equipment or abilities far beyond normal parameters. Those alerts were sent to various departments, including one that forwarded them automatically to the Galactic Security Council. And the Security Council had standing orders regarding any signs of Zephyrian tactical abilities. The hunters who had destroyed Kithara's people were about to learn that their quarry had survived, and this time, it had something they'd never faced before. A human partner who refused to give up on impossible connections. Maya fell asleep that night with Kithara's warm presence beside her, both of them filled with hope for the first time in longer than either could remember. Tomorrow, they would begin to change everything. Maya woke to the sound of urgent voices outside the lab. Through the viewport, she could see security personnel moving with purpose through the corridors. Kithara was already alert, its large eyes fixed on the door with unmistakable concern. "What's happening?" Maya whispered, checking the time. It was barely dawn in the station's artificial cycle. Dr. Hernandez burst through the door without knocking, his face grim. "Maya, we need to talk. Now. Is something wrong with the simulation data?" Maya asked, though Kithara's growing agitation told her this was about something much more serious. "The Galactic Security Council is sending a team, Dr. Hernandez said bluntly. "Your simulation scores triggered automated alerts. They want to investigate possible unauthorized tactical AI development." Maya's blood ran cold. She'd heard about GSC investigations. They were thorough, invasive, and often ended with entire research projects being confiscated. "But we're not developing AI. Kithara is a living being. Try explaining that to bureaucrats who think any tactical ability exceeding baseline parameters must be artificial." Dr. Hernandez sat down heavily. "Maya, there's something else. I've been digging into the background of your creature's species. The Zephyrians weren't just peacekeepers, they were specifically targeted by a coalition called the Hegemony." "I know," Maya said quietly. "Kithara showed me." Dr. Hernandez stared at her. "Showed you how?" Maya placed her hand on Kithara's neck, feeling the familiar warmth of their mental connection. "We can communicate telepathically. That's how we achieved those simulation scores. Kithara has tactical knowledge spanning thousands of years, but its neural pathways were damaged. I serve as a bridge. Maya, Dr. Hernandez's voice was very quiet. The hegemony still exists. They're part of the current galactic government structure. If they learn, there's a surviving Zephyrian here. The implications hit Maya like a physical blow. The same forces that had systematically destroyed Kithara's people were now part of the established order, and they were sending investigators. We have to protect Kithara, Maya said firmly. With what? Maya, the GSC team will arrive in 18 hours. They'll scan every inch of this station. There's nowhere to hide a creature that size. Kithara made that musical sound again, and Maya felt a wave of images. The creature was showing her something new. Memories of Zephyrians who had survived by disguising their abilities, by appearing to be simple animals, rather than the sophisticated beings they truly were. Kithara has an idea, Maya said slowly. But I'll need access to the station's medical bay and some very specific equipment. Dr. Patel joined them an hour later, his scientific curiosity overriding his caution. You want to do what, exactly? Temporary neural dampening, Maya explained, pulling up schematics on her tablet. If we can suppress Kithara's brain activity patterns, it will appear to be just an unusual alien pet. The investigators will scan it, find nothing remarkable, and move on. Maya, neural dampening is incredibly dangerous, Dr. Patel protested. We don't fully understand Zephyrian physiology. We could cause permanent damage. The alternative is certain death, Maya replied. Through her link with Kithara, she could feel the creature's agreement. It was willing to take the risk. And what about you? Dr. Hernandez asked. If your simulation scores were the trigger, they'll want to interview you extensively. Maya had been thinking about that too. I'll tell them I developed a new interface algorithm. Humans are known for innovative thinking. They might be suspicious, but they can't prove anything if Kithara appears to be just an animal. The next few hours were frantic preparation. Maya worked with Dr. Patel to modify a neural dampening device, calibrating it based on their scans of Kithara's brain structure. The creature remained calm throughout the process, though Maya could feel its underlying fear. I need you to understand, Maya said as they prepared for the procedure. This will cut our connection temporarily. You'll be alone in your own mind again. I know how terrifying that must be. Kithara's response was a flood of gratitude and trust. The creature had found something it had never expected, a being willing to risk everything to protect it. In return, it shared something precious with Maya. The location coordinates of a hidden Zephyrian sanctuary, a place its people had prepared in case of exactly this situation. You're giving me a way to save others like you, Maya whispered, tears in her eyes. But first, we have to save you. The neural dampening procedure was successful, though watching Kithara's vibrant mind fade to apparent simplicity was heartbreaking. Maya tested their connection and found only silence. For all external purposes, Kithara now appeared to be exactly what the aliens at the auction had thought. A defective battle mount with no special abilities. The GSC investigation team arrived exactly on schedule. They were led by a hegemony official named Director Voss, a tall humanoid with pale skin and cold silver eyes. Maya disliked him immediately. Dr. Chen, Director Voss said as he reviewed her file. Your simulation scores indicate either remarkable natural ability or unauthorized enhancement technology. Which is it? Natural ability combined with innovative programming, Maya replied smoothly. She'd rehearsed this conversation dozens of times. I developed a new interface algorithm that allows for more intuitive tactical thinking. Show me, Voss commanded. Maya led the team to the simulation lab, her heart pounding. Without Kithara's connection, she would have to rely on her own abilities. She'd spent the night memorizing basic tactical principles, hoping it would be enough to seem competent without being suspicious. The simulation began. Maya did her best, calling on everything Kithara had taught her during their brief partnership. She performed well, better than most humans, but nowhere near the levels she'd achieved with Kithara's help. Acceptable, Director Voss concluded. though his eyes remained suspicious. "What about the creature you purchased? I understand you've been conducting experiments with it." "Just basic behavioral studies," Maya said, leading them to the containment area where Kithara waited. "It's not very intelligent, I'm afraid." The auction house was right about it being defective. The GSC team's scanners confirmed what the neural dampener was designed to show. A creature with below-average intelligence and no unusual abilities. Kithara played its part perfectly, moving with the same unsteady gait it had shown at the auction, appearing confused and docile. "Curious," one of the technicians said, studying his readings. "The genetic markers are unusual. I'm reading traces of Zephyrian DNA. But that's impossible. The species was declared extinct." Maya's blood turned to ice, but she forced herself to remain calm. "Zephyrian? An extinct species that once served as tactical advisors," Director Voss explained, his voice carefully neutral. "They were eliminated as a security threat decades ago. This creature might be descended from hybrid breeding experiments. Interesting, but harmless." The investigation continued for 2 more days. Maya maintained her cover, playing the role of an enthusiastic young scientist who had simply gotten lucky with a new programming technique. The team eventually concluded that while her methods were innovative, they posed no security threat. After they left, Maya waited a full day before beginning the process of reversing the neural dampening. The procedure was more complex than the original suppression, requiring careful restoration of brain activity patterns. Dr. Patel worked alongside her, monitoring Kithara's vital signs as they slowly brought the creature's mind back online. The moment their connection was restored, Maya gasped. Kithara's relief and gratitude flooded through her. But underneath was something else. New determination. The creature had experienced being truly alone again, had felt the emptiness of its damaged mind without Maya's bridge, and had made a decision. "What is it?" Maya asked silently. Kithara's response came as a series of vivid images. The hidden sanctuary, the coordinates it had shared with her, and something more. Other survivors. Kithara wasn't the last Zephyrian after all. A small group had escaped the genocide and hidden themselves, waiting for someone who could help them reclaim their heritage. "You want to find them," Maya understood. "But how? We're on a research station in the middle of nowhere. And even if we could get to those coordinates, the hegemony would follow us." Kithara's answer surprised her. The creature wasn't just thinking about reunion with its own kind. It was thinking about resistance. The Zephyrians had been peacekeepers, but they had also been strategic geniuses. With the right partner, with someone who could serve as a bridge to their abilities, they could begin to undo the damage the hegemony had caused across the galaxy. "You're talking about war," Maya said, though she felt Kithara's gentle correction. "Not war. Justice." The hegemony had built its power on the destruction of species like the Zephyrians, taking their abilities and eliminating the people themselves. It was time to show the galaxy what they had lost. Over the next week, Maya threw herself into planning. She couldn't simply steal a ship and disappear. That would bring the entire GSC down on their heads. Instead, she began laying the groundwork for what would appear to be a legitimate research expedition. "I want to study the creature's origins," she told Dr. Hernandez. "The genetic markers suggest there might be more specimens in the void sectors where it was found. Think of the scientific value. Think of the scientific value." Dr. Hernandez was skeptical but intrigued. The university would fund an expedition to find new species. But Maya, the void sectors are dangerous. Ship graveyards, spatial anomalies, unknown hazards. Which is exactly why no one's done a proper survey, Maya argued. "We could make groundbreaking discoveries." It took 2 more weeks of bureaucratic maneuvering. But eventually Maya received approval for a 6-month research expedition to the void sectors. She would lead a small team aboard the research vessel Endeavor, ostensibly searching for the origins of various exotic species found in derelict ships. The night before departure, Maya sat with Kithara in their shared quarters, making final preparations. Their connection had grown stronger over the past weeks, allowing for more complex communication and deeper sharing of knowledge. "Are you sure about this?" Maya asked. Once we leave, there's no going back. If the hegemony discovers what we're really doing. Kithara's response was resolute. Its people had hidden in exile for too long, watching the galaxy suffer under the rule of those who valued power over peace. With Maya as a bridge, the surviving Zephyrians could begin to make a difference again. I need to tell you something, Maya said quietly. I'm scared. I'm just a xenobiologist from New Terra. I never planned to become part of some galactic resistance movement. Kithara shared its own memories of fear. The terror of being the last of its kind. The despair of believing its people's knowledge would die with it. But also the hope it had found in their partnership. Maya had proven that different species could work together in ways that made them stronger than the sum of their parts. Together? Maya asked, placing her hand on Kithara's warm scales. Together, came the wordless reply, accompanied by such a wave of trust and affection that Maya felt tears on her cheeks. The next morning, the Endeavour launched from Kepler Station, officially beginning a routine scientific expedition. Maya stood in the observation deck with Kithara beside her, watching the station grow smaller as they entered hyperspace. Dr. Patel and 2 junior researchers completed their small team, all unaware of their true destination. First jump coordinates are locked in, announced their pilot, a gruff former military officer named Captain Torres. ETA to the first survey site is 6 hours. Maya nodded, though she knew they wouldn't be stopping at any official survey sites. Using Kithara's guidance, she had programmed a course that would take them deep into the void sectors, to coordinates that didn't appear on any star chart. As the ship traveled through hyperspace, Maya felt Kithara's excitement growing. Soon, they would reach the hidden sanctuary. Soon, the creature would be reunited with its own kind. And soon, Maya would learn just how much the galaxy could change when humans and Zephyrians worked together. But unknown to Maya, their departure had been noted by the same monitoring systems that had flagged her simulation scores. Director Voss had placed a discreet tracking protocol on her ship, curious about the young human who had shown such unusual tactical abilities. He suspected there was more to Maya Chen and her defective creature than met the eye. The hunt that had destroyed the Zephyrians decades ago was about to begin again. But this time, the quarry would not be helpless refugees. This time, they would have a human partner who understood that some connections were worth fighting for. As the Endeavour dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the void sectors, Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with the ship's temperature controls. Through her link with Kithara, she sensed something else. They were not alone out here. Ships were following them, ships that moved with the same predatory purpose as the ones in Kithara's darkest memories. Captain Torres, Maya called out, trying to keep her voice steady. I think we need to change course. But it was already too late. The trap was closing, and Maya realized that their escape from Kepler Station had been exactly what their enemies wanted. They had been allowed to leave, followed into the emptiness of space where no one would witness what happened next. The real test of the human-Zephyrian partnership was about to begin. The hegemony ships emerged from hyperspace like predators materializing from shadows. Maya counted at least 6 vessels, their black hulls bristling with weapons designed specifically for hunting Zephyrians. Through her connection with Kithara, she felt the creature's memories stir. These were the same ship designs that had destroyed its homeworld. Captain Torres, evasive maneuvers, Maya shouted, but the Endeavour was a research vessel, not a warship. Their only advantage was that the hegemony forces might want to capture rather than destroy them. What's happening, Doctor? Patel demanded from the doorway. Those aren't pirates. Before Maya could answer, Director Voss's voice filled the bridge through the communication system. Dr. Chen, you will surrender immediately. We know what you're harboring aboard that ship. I don't know what you're talking about, Maya replied, though her hands were already working at the navigation controls. Kithara had shown her the exact coordinates of the sanctuary, and they were only minutes away from the final jump point. The creature isn't defective, is it? Voss continued. Our long-range scans detected neural activity patterns consistent with an active Zephyrian mind. You've somehow restored its abilities. Maya felt Kithara's surge of determination through their link. The creature moved to the navigation console, placing one of its legs against the control panel. Suddenly, Maya's mind filled with star charts of incredible complexity, tactical assessments of their situation, and most importantly, a desperate plan. Maya. Kithara's voice seemed to speak directly in her mind, clearer than ever before. The sanctuary has defenses, but we need to reach it first. I'm going to share something with you, something no Zephyrian has ever shared with another species. What are you talking about? Complete neural integration. Not just communication, but true partnership. Your human adaptability combined with our tactical knowledge. But Maya, it's irreversible. We will be forever connected. Maya barely hesitated. Do it. The sensation was unlike anything she'd ever experienced. Kithara's mind merged with hers. Not just sharing thoughts but actually restructuring her neural pathways to accommodate Zephyrian tactical processing. Maya felt her consciousness expand, suddenly able to perceive the battle developing around them in ways that should have been impossible. She could see the enemy formation as a three-dimensional tactical problem, understanding instantly how each ship's position affected the overall battle space. More than that, she could feel the quantum fluctuations in local space, the subtle gravitational eddies that could be exploited for faster-than-light navigation. Captain Torres, adjust heading by 14 degrees and prepare for emergency jump. Maya commanded, her voice carrying an authority that hadn't been there moments before. Dr. Patel, get everyone to emergency stations. This is going to be rough. The hegemony ships opened fire just as the Endeavour jumped to hyperspace. Maya felt the ship's structure strain under the gravitational forces she was manipulating, pushing their drives far beyond safe parameters. But through her enhanced perception, she could see exactly how much stress the ship could handle. They emerged in a system that looked empty at first glance. 3 dead planets orbited a dying red star, the whole system appearing worthless and forgotten. But Maya's enhanced senses detected subtle energy patterns, hidden installations camouflaged to look like natural formations. There, she said, pointing to what appeared to be a large asteroid near the second planet. That's the sanctuary. As they approached, the asteroid began to change. Sections of rock slid away to reveal gleaming metal structures underneath. Docking bays opened, and Maya gasped as she saw other ships emerging. Vessels of graceful, organic design that moved through space like living things. Zephyrian ships, she whispered. There are dozens of them. The largest vessel moved to intercept them, its hull shimmering with patterns that reminded Maya of Kithara's scales. A communication channel opened, and Maya heard a voice that was unmistakably Zephyrian. Musical, layered with harmonics that carried emotional undertones. Sister ship Kithara, we have waited long for your return. But you bring strangers to our sanctuary. Through their neural link, Maya felt Kithara's joy at hearing its native language again. But the creature's response surprised her with its formality. Elder Mind Zephanos, I bring the bridge builder, the one who made me whole again. She is Maya human partner, and through her, our people may reclaim their purpose. Kithara is speaking for both of us. Maya realized, feeling the creature's thoughts flowing through her own voice. This is incredible. The Zephyrian elder's response carried deep curiosity. Show us this bridge building, young one. Before Maya could ask what that meant, alarms began screaming throughout the Endeavour. The hegemony ships had followed them, emerging from hyperspace in aggressive formation. But this time, they brought reinforcements. A massive dreadnought that Maya recognized from Kithara's memories as a world killer. The same class of ship that had destroyed the Zephyrian homeworld. Surrender now, Director Voss transmitted, and we will make your deaths quick. The response came not from Maya or Captain Torres, but from Elder Zephanos himself. Hegemony spawn. You are not welcome in this place. Depart now, or face the consequences of your ancient crimes. Director Voss's laughter was cold. Old creature, your people are extinct. We finished you decades ago, and we'll finish the last few stragglers hiding here. The galaxy has no place for peacekeepers. Then let us show you, Elder Zephynos replied. What peacekeepers become when they choose war. What happened next would be remembered across the galaxy for generations. The hidden Zephyrian fleet emerged from the sanctuary in perfect formation. 50 vessels of various sizes, all moving with fluid grace that spoke of minds working in perfect harmony. But Maya quickly realized they were still outnumbered. The hegemony had brought nearly 100 ships, including that massive dreadnought. Raw numbers favored the enemy. Maya, Kathara's voice in her mind was urgent. This is why we need the bridge. Zephyrians can work in perfect coordination, but only with each other. Humans can work with anyone. Anything. You can be the bridge between our fleet and the ship systems themselves. I don't understand. Ship AIs, navigation computers, weapon systems, they're all just different kinds of minds. If you can bridge to them the way you bridge to me, Maya understood instantly. Through her enhanced perception, she could sense the electronic consciousness of every system aboard the Endeavor. More than that, she could feel the quantum connections between ships in the Zephyrian fleet. I need to connect to their ships, she told Captain Torres. Patch me into the communication array. Maya, what are you doing? Dr. Patel asked, but she was already moving to the primary console. Maya placed her hands on the interface panel and opened her mind. The sensation was overwhelming. Dozens of ship AIs all trying to communicate at once. Weapons systems seeking targeting data. Navigation computers calculating hyperspace routes. But instead of chaos, Maya found herself able to organize it all, creating a network that connected human technology with Zephyrian tactics. Suddenly, every ship in the Allied fleet was sharing information in real time. Human sensors provided detailed analysis that Zephyrian minds processed into tactical solutions, which were then executed by ship systems that responded as if they were extensions of organic nervous systems. The battle that followed redefined space combat. The Zephyrian ships moved like a single living entity, perfectly coordinated, but now enhanced with human technological advantages. Maya found herself simultaneously commanding weapons on a dozen vessels, coordinating with ship AIs that had never experienced tactical direction of such sophistication. The hegemony dreadnought opened fire with its world-killer cannon, a weapon capable of cracking a planet's crust. But Maya had anticipated the shot, coordinating a defense that used the gravitational field of the nearby planet to deflect the beam harmlessly into space. Impossible! Director Voss screamed over the communication channel. No single mind can coordinate so many variables. You're right, Maya replied, her voice now carrying harmonics that marked her as speaking for the entire Allied fleet. This isn't a single mind. This is what happens when species work together instead of destroying each other. The Zephyrian counterattack was a thing of beauty. Ships moved in three-dimensional patterns that confused enemy sensors, while weapons fired in precise sequences that overwhelmed hegemony shields. But most importantly, Maya was learning from every exchange, her human adaptability allowing her to incorporate new tactics on the fly. Within an hour, the tide had turned completely. Hegemony ships found themselves unable to predict or counter moves that combined Zephyrian strategic thinking with human innovation and technological integration. One by one, enemy vessels surrendered or retreated. The dreadnought was the last to fall. Director Voss, desperate and enraged, attempted to ram the sanctuary directly. But Maya had anticipated even this, using the combined processing power of the entire fleet to calculate a gravity well that trapped the massive ship in an impossible orbit. This isn't over, Voss transmitted as Zephyrian boarding parties secured his vessel. The hegemony will send more ships, bigger fleets. Let them come, Elder Zephynos replied. Word of this battle will spread. Species across the galaxy will learn that there is an alternative to hegemony rule, and Maya Human Bridge will teach others her gift. As the immediate threat ended, Maya found herself overwhelmed by the scope of what had just happened. Through her enhanced senses, she could feel the excitement and hope radiating from the Zephyrian survivors. But more than that, she could sense communication signals spreading outward from the sanctuary. Other hidden enclaves, resistance cells, entire species that had been waiting for a sign that the hegemony could be challenged. "What happens now?" she asked Elder Zephanos during the celebration that followed. "Now we rebuild," the ancient Zephyrian replied. "But not as we were before. Your partnership with Kithara has shown us something new. The power of true cooperation between species. Humans have the gift of adaptation, of making connections that others cannot see. Combined with Zephyrian tactical knowledge, this changes everything." 5. Over the following weeks, Maya worked with the sanctuary's inhabitants to establish what would become known as the Bridge Network, a communication and coordination system that linked resistance cells across the galaxy. Her unique ability to interface with both organic and artificial minds made her the perfect coordinator for species that had never been able to work together effectively. But the most important changes were personal. Maya and Kithara's partnership had evolved into something unprecedented. Two minds from different species that could truly think as one while maintaining their individual identities. They became the template for a new kind of cooperation that other species began to emulate. Dr. Patel, initially overwhelmed by the revelations, threw himself into studying the human Zephyrian neural integration process. "We could train others to form similar partnerships," he told Maya excitedly. "Imagine humans working directly with AI systems, or with other alien species. The applications are limitless." Captain Torres, meanwhile, had volunteered to help train human pilots to work with Zephyrian tactical coordinators. "Never seen anything like it," he admitted to Maya. "In 30 years of flying, I've never felt so connected to my ship. It's like the whole vessel becomes an extension of your body." 6 months later, Maya stood in the command center of New Sanctuary, a mobile space station that served as headquarters for the growing resistance movement. Through the viewports, she could see ships from dozens of species working together in ways that would have been impossible under hegemony rule. "The latest reports are encouraging," Elder Zephanos informed her. 17 sectors have declared independence from hegemony control. The bridge network is functioning beyond our most optimistic projections." Maya nodded, feeling Kithara's satisfied presence in her mind. The creature had found its purpose again, not as a weapon of war but as an architect of peace through cooperation. "There's still so much work to do," Maya said. "The hegemony won't give up their control easily." "No," the elder agreed. "But they face something they cannot understand or counter. Species working together as equals, rather than rulers and subjects. Your human gift of adaptation, combined with our tactical knowledge and the unique abilities of our other allies, creates possibilities they cannot predict." Through the bridge network, Maya could sense the hope spreading across the galaxy. Species that had been suppressed or enslaved for generations were rediscovering their own abilities, learning to work with others in ways that made all of them stronger. "Kithara," Maya said silently, "do you ever regret what we've become? The neural integration? The permanent connection?" The response was immediate and warm. Absolute contentment. Kithara had found not just a partner, but a true companion. Someone who understood that the greatest strength came not from domination, but from cooperation. "Together?" Maya asked, using the same word from their first night working together. "Forever together," came the reply, accompanied by such joy that Maya couldn't help but smile. Outside the command center, the work of rebuilding the galaxy continued. Humans and Zephyrians worked side by side, teaching other species the art of true cooperation. The hegemony's greatest weakness had been their inability to understand that diversity made civilizations stronger, not weaker. Maya Chen, the young xenobiologist who had once bought a supposedly defective creature for 30 credits, had become the bridge between species that would reshape the galaxy. And Kithara, the last survivor of a supposedly extinct people, had found a way to ensure that its species' greatest gift, the ability to bring peace through understanding, would never be lost again. The battle for the galaxy's future had only just begun, but for the first time in generations, those fighting for freedom had something the hegemony could never understand or counter: the power of beings who chose cooperation over conquest, partnership over domination, and hope over fear. The weak battle steed that everyone else had passed on had indeed changed everything, but not through strength or ferocity. Through the simple revolutionary idea that different species could become stronger by working together than any could ever be alone.